Okay, right, so you've chosen that you want to take up a hobby, and you've been looking into metal detecting as being that hobby. There's a few things before you start that you need to take into consideration. One is budget. How much are you willing to spend on a metal detector? And that will go along with how often do you think you're going to go out and use the metal detector. Then you need to think, where will you be doing most of your detecting? Would it be in parks? Would it be in beach? Would it be in, if it's in Europe, on farm fields or woodland? Or maybe it's a mixture of all three. I live on the coast, so I have parks, beaches, and woodlands if I want to do all that. So I be looking for an all-round detector that will cover all of those bases. Now, obviously, I go out a lot, and I've had a fair few machines in my time, and I understand what's good for me. Now, you need to, again, go through what each machine does, how much it costs. So there's one there, look, a Minelab Xterra Intrepid metal detector, $247.15. Now that metal detector will find metal, will find all sorts of things. It's not a bad little detector for a beginner. You can just take that, turn it on, and start detecting. But first of all, you need to research exactly what you want to be doing. So here's some price lists. Look, you've got under $500, $500 to $1,500, $1,500 to $4,000, and over $4,000. And some of them go up to even $15,000. But they're basically if you're looking for gold and stuff. So that's another thing. What will you be mostly looking for? Coins, relics, gold, jewelry, whatever. So research is the most important part in these areas about, first of all, choosing a metal detector. Now, if you do have any difficulty in understanding that, just phone up your local dealer and talk to them about what I'm saying, and they will completely point you in the right direction about what machine will do what machine will do this, and the costs and the price and the benefits that you'll get out of it. So that's a good way of starting. Yeah, so we've covered that base. Now choose your detector, and we'll go outside and I'll show you what we can do with that new detector after you've chosen it has arrived, and how we're going to start to understand it. Okay, right, so I'm going to demonstrate to you now something that you should do in wherever you are in the world. You'll all have coins, stuff like that. Not necessarily the same as the coins here in Australia, but obviously these are the coins that I can show you here. And also I'm assuming that you've already got the metal detector that you want to have by now, right? So what we've done, we've got all the denominations of the coins that we look for in the ground, and we put them all out on this board. Some people actually bury them in the ground to a certain depth, but I can't do that in my garden because we live on the bottom of a hill and we get flooded regularly when the rains come. So I'm just going to show you like this. So what we got here, first of all, Go from right to left as you're looking at it, and this one here, so this is my metal detector, and it goes up to 60. That's the tones. So we'll start with the first one, which is a $2 coin. Which is a steady 42. And that's the tone that it makes. Moving over, we'll go to the $1 coin. Slightly jumpier, 43 in that. Then to a 50-cent coin. $36. The 20-cent coin. Hear how the tones are getting lower as the denominations go down. It's because there's not so much precious metal in them. 10 cent, even lower. And finally, a 5 cent. There it is. Find it hard to see what I'm doing because I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time. Okay, right. Now we go over to our pre-decimal line, and we'll start off with the biggest pre-decimal that we've got, which is a copper penny. And this is an old one, 1913 King George V penny, and it's just about here. Nice steady tone on that, 44, 45. Then we go to a half penny. Not far from a dollar coin, just a little bit jumpy. Then we're on to silvers. This is one of the biggest silvers we have, and this one is a florin. No messing about with a florin. 47. A ram's head shilling. 45. Sweet time. Then a 925 sixpence. See that there? And a 925 threepence. Then we go to the junky side. That's stainless steel. Won't pick it up because I've notched it out. I don't want to hear any stainless steel or iron. If you read it in your manual, it'll explain to you about notching stuff out. This is just the basic settings, what you put it on when you first start. Bottle top. It can be tricky. You'll soon get used to them though. Pull tab. That's the Coca-Cola one. And this one is a Red Bull. Not far away from the 10-cent coins. And then we got a silver ring. Screamer. You're not missing that one. So yep, get yourself a board like that together, put all your coins down and go over them. And get to know, you can even write them down on a piece of paper and keep going over them until that tone of whatever machine you've got starts sitting into your ear. And then as you start detecting, you'll be able to pick them tones out. Look at the numbers as well, just as you're going, but more and more start listening out for the tones. The tones is what's going to count the most. Right, okay, now you've got your detector. You know what your coins sound like. Now you need these two bits of equipment, and these are going to become essential for you. And it really is worth, if you can afford it, to pay that little bit of extra money for a good quality type of this, the digger, and this what we call a pinpointer. Because cheaper models, they won't do the job for you. I'm going to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about right now. So what we want, we've got a coin buried there somewhere, and we're going to turn this on, and what this is going to do is it's going to locate where metal is, right? The thing is, it's got a 360 degree action, so right at the top it'll find it, and right at the tip, right? To pinpoint accurately, you want the tip to touch the object, yeah? So the closer you get to the object, the higher the pitch will go, as so. Far away, getting closer, closer, closer. When you're touching it, there you go, you're right on it, right? So we've got this coin here somewhere. Now, how can we find this coin? We've detected it with our detector, we know it's here somewhere. Now if we go here, there's something there, and now it falls off. Again, we pull it here, so it's the loudest point there. Let's draw a cross. Again there. It's that loudest point there. So we've gone here, we've gone here, and we've pinpointed it to that location. So we should be, if we dig that up and turn it over, getting closer. And here we have it, our coin. And that's how the pinpointer works. And like I said, that will become your second hand man at the end of the day, helping you find stuff that's in the ground, especially small stuff like those little silver coins and stuff like that, that are quite hard to find without a pinpointer. So yep, use a little bit more extra time in choosing the pinpointer. Make sure it's a good one, make sure it's got good recommendations, and you shouldn't go far wrong there. You've probably already been doing a lot of this and scrolling through YouTube and watching videos on metal detecting. Now, don't get carried away. It's not all gold and silver. A lot of people only show you the good parts, they don't show you the junk. And believe me, we all dig junk. You can't get away from it. If it's brass fittings, if it's copper pipe bits, if it's this, if it's that, and they sound good, you will have to dig them. There's no way around it. I mean, we've got certain bottle tops here that sound like $1 and $2 coins. No difference at all. And you think, that's definitely a coin. And it'll be a bottle top. And we hate them. But there's no way of getting around it. Anyway, so once you've chosen your machine and you're happy with your choice and this, that and the other, go to YouTube. Type it in, what machine it is, and just start watching other people using it. And there's just so much stuff. And if you really want to, you can go to my channel and subscribe there. Hey, that's us. Anyway, there's so much stuff about metal detecting, but there's also a search for your particular metal detector that you choose. So just watch those videos, watch some of the experts using it, and maybe you'll get more explanations about how to use it. And yep, you'll be well ahead of the game by the time you've even thought about going, guys. So yeah, watch YouTube videos and familiarise yourself with the machine you've chose. Right, now you should be ready to go. Now set the shaft so your arm is extended, just a slight bend in the elbow just to make it comfortable, and have the coil that's at the bottom just above the ground, as close as you can get it to the ground. Now in swinging, don't do this. You need to keep it as close as the ground as you can get it, and just do small swings like this right in front of you. There's something there maybe, and what you're listening for is the little chirps, and listen to the sound of the machine and what it's picking up from the ground. And then start your walking, but only slow. You don't have to go fast. Just take your time, get to know the detector, get to know the sounds, and keep on going on, keep on plodding on, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got a target. It's right there. That's our first target with our brand new hobby. I practice that and you shouldn't go far wrong. And I always say that when you're metal detecting, it's like learning a musical instrument. The more you play with it, the better you'll get. So don't be worried if you're digging up junk and trash at the beginning. We've all been through that. We all go through that stage. But sooner or later, you're going to learn every single tone on that machine, and you'll become an expert in no time. Good luck out there, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, man, out in the beautiful world of metal detecting.